Silence is one of the most powerful weapons you have. Do you ever notice that the loudest person in the room is usually the weakest? That's because real strength doesn't need to announce itself. People who are always running their mouths and trying to prove something aren't truly about their life. They're just trying to convince themselves. Real power is quiet. It moves in the shadows, and by the time people notice, it's already too late. Silence makes people uncomfortable because it forces them to pay attention. When you stop filling every moment with words, you become mysterious. People start wondering what you're thinking, what you know, and what you're planning. And that right there, that's an advantage. A person who speaks less controls the conversation without even saying a word. Have you ever seen a lion hunting? It doesn't roar while it's creeping up on its prey. It moves silently and patiently, waiting for the right moment. Then, boom, it strikes. But if it was making noise the whole time, the prey would run. That's how you need to move in life. Stop giving away your position. Stop announcing your plans before they even take off. A lot of you talk yourselves out of your blessings. You tell everyone what you're about to do, and before you know it, the energy around you shifts. People start planting doubt in your head and speaking negativity into your life. Now you're questioning yourself when you should have just kept quiet and moved in peace. Some of you let your emotions make you talk too much. Someone disrespects you, and you feel like you have to respond. You don't. Silence is a response, a strong one. Let people say whatever they want. What they think about you doesn't change who you are. You don't have to defend yourself against people who've already made up their minds about you. The ones who truly have power don't need to prove anything. They let their work, their discipline, and their results speak for them. You don't see the CEO arguing with every employee in the building. He's too busy running the company. That's how you need to start thinking. Get too busy with your grind to be explaining yourself to folks who don't matter. You don't have to be the loudest to be the strongest. You don't have to be seen to be effective. The strongest people in the world, they move in silence. They let their presence be felt without making a sound. That's power. And once you understand that, your whole life will change. Too many of you are out here explaining yourself to people who don't even care about your growth. You keep repeating yourself, trying to prove your worth to folks who've already made up their minds about you. Let me tell you something. The moment you stop giving your energy to people who don't deserve it, that's when your life starts changing. Some people aren't meant to understand you. Some people aren't even capable of seeing the vision God put in your heart. And that's okay. Stop wasting your breath. You could be using that same energy to focus on your goals, to build something, and to grow. Instead, you're caught up in trying to make people see your worth when your worth isn't open for discussion. The moment you start pulling back, you'll see real fast who was just using you for your energy. When you stop calling first, stop explaining, and stop giving them free access to your time, you'll notice something. A lot of them aren't even checking for you. And that right there tells you everything you need to know. Some of you are drained because you're feeding people who aren't feeding you back. You're giving your wisdom, love, and time, and in return, you're getting empty conversations, broken promises, and fake support. That's not a relationship. That's a one-sided transaction. And it's time for you to put an end to it. Do you ever notice how people get mad when you stop responding? It's not because they miss you. It's because they lost control over you. They were feeding off your attention, kindness, and patience. But the moment you get silent, they don't know what to do. And that's why silence is so powerful. You don't owe anybody an explanation for protecting your peace. You don't have to defend yourself for walking away from people who drain you. Your energy is precious, and you don't get it back once it's gone. Start being selective. Start choosing who gets a seat at your table. Not everyone deserves a plate. The moment you realize that your energy is your currency, you'll stop wasting it on people who can't afford it. Protect your time, protect your space, and most importantly, protect your peace. Stay silent and watch how the wrong people start disappearing on their own. You don't need to tell people what you're about to do. Just do it. Have you ever seen a tree announce when it's about to grow? No, it just grows, and before you know it, it's standing tall, providing shade. Let your success do the talking. A lot of folks talk about what they're going to do, but never actually do it. That's why most people aren't successful. They spend more time telling others about their dreams than working on them. Dreams don't work unless you do, and the loudest plans without action are just empty noise. Do you ever wonder why some of the most successful people don't say much? Because they are too busy grinding. They don't have time to be out here convincing people they're going to make it. They already know they will. When you are really about that work, you don't have to prove anything to anybody. Talking too much sets you up for distractions. The more you tell people, the more opinions you invite, the more negativity you attract, the more unnecessary pressure you put on yourself. But when you move in silence, you eliminate all that. It's just you, your grind, and your results. Success is undeniable. When you start winning, people will notice. You ain't got to announce every little step. Just keep building, keep working, and one day, the same people who doubted you will be the same ones asking how you did it. Do you ever see a chef talk about how good their food is? No. They just let people taste it. If it's good, the food will speak for itself. That's how you need to approach your life. Stop talking about what you're going to do. Just do it and let the results make the noise. The best revenge is silence and success. When you win, the people who doubted you will feel it without you saying a word. When you grow, the ones who tried to hold you back will see it without an announcement. Stay silent, stay focused, and watch how everything you work for starts falling into place. Silence is the test. When you stop talking so much, when you stop explaining, when you stop reaching out first, you're going to see real quick who's there for you. Some people only stick around because they benefit from your energy, your kindness, and your attention. The moment you pull back, they disappear. And that's exactly what you need to see. Some exits don't need explanations. Just be quiet and watch who fades away. A lot of you are surrounded by people who aren't real, but you can't see it because you're always keeping the connection alive. You're always checking in, always making the effort, and always explaining yourself. Try going silent for a while and see what happens. If they never hit you up, if they never check in, if they never wonder why you pull back, then they were never really there for you to begin with. Silence exposes intentions. The ones who are real don't need constant validation. They don't need you entertaining them 24/7. They respect your space and they still show up. But the fake ones, they get mad. They feel entitled to your energy. They start questioning why you aren't giving them the same attention. That right there tells you everything you need to know. Do you ever notice how some people only hit you up when they need something? The moment you stop being available, they disappear. But the ones who care, they aren't checking in because they need something. They're checking in because they value you. Those are the people you keep close to, the ones who show up even when you have nothing to give. When you stop talking so much, you start hearing things you used to miss. You start picking up on the little signs. You notice the backhanded compliments, the forced smiles, the fake support. A lot of people clap for you in public, but secretly hate you in private. Your silence forces them to reveal themselves. It makes them uncomfortable because now they don't know what's going on with you. And that's when their true colors come out. Silence teaches you patience. It shows you who's genuinely in your corner and who's just there for convenience. It makes you realize that not everybody in your circle is in your corner. Some people just like the benefits of being connected to you, but they don't care about you. When you quiet, when you stop reaching out, you're going to see the difference between those who love you and those who just love what you do for them. Silence is your filter. It removes the fake, the needy, the opportunistic. It forces people to show their real intentions without you having to say a word. The ones who are meant to stay in your life will stay. The ones who were never real will fall off. And that's exactly how it should be. Patience is a skill most people don't have because they're too busy running their mouths, chasing what's not meant for them, and forcing things that should come naturally. Silence forces you to wait, to listen, to observe. It teaches you to stop reacting out of desperation and start moving with intention. Most people miss their blessings because they move too fast trying to control everything. But when you learn to be silent, you also learn to wait for what's truly meant for you. Silence separates the impulsive from the wise. People who lack patience always rush into things, relationships, business deals, friendships, without thinking. They just want quick results. And they end up making mistakes that cost them in the long run. But when you develop the patience to sit still, to hold your tongue, to observe before acting, you make better decisions. You learn that everything doesn't need an immediate response, and most things will reveal themselves if you just wait. A lot of people sabotage themselves by speaking too soon. They tell everybody their plans, their next move, their struggles, and then wonder why things don't work out. Sometimes the best thing you can do is shut up and let things unfold. You don't need to announce every step. You don't need validation from others. Silence protects your vision because it gives you time to build in peace without interference, unnecessary opinions, and distractions. When you learn patience through silence, you stop forcing connections that aren't meant to be. You stop trying to prove your worth to people who don't appreciate you. You stop begging for opportunities that don't align with your purpose. Instead, you wait. You wait for the right people, the right doors, the right timing, and when things finally fall into place, they come with peace, not stress, because you didn't have to force them. Patience makes you stronger because it forces you to rely on faith instead of control. When you're silent, when you stop rushing, you realize that everything you need will come in its own time. The right opportunities, the right relationships, the right moments, they will find you when you're ready. Most people panic when things don't happen immediately, but patience gives you confidence. It teaches you that delays aren't denials, and sometimes the wait is where the real growth happens. Silence teaches you that timing is everything. Sometimes you're ready, but the world isn't. Sometimes the world is ready, but you're not. Learning patience through silence helps you trust the process, knowing that what's truly meant for you won't miss you. Instead of chasing, instead of forcing, instead of worrying, you simply prepare yourself and let everything align naturally. The loudest person in the room is usually the weakest. People who talk too much, who brag about every move, who constantly look for validation. They're exposing themselves. They're making themselves an easy target for doubt, negativity, and sabotage. When you move in silence, you keep your power. You don't need applause. You don't need approval. You don't need to prove anything to anybody. Your success will speak for itself. A lot of people fail before they even get started because they talk too much. They announce their dreams to people who don't support them. They share their plans with those who secretly hope they fail, and they give away their strategies before they even execute. Not everyone clapping for you wants you to win. Some people just want front row seats to your downfall. Moving in silence protects you from unnecessary distractions and unwanted energy. When you work in silence, you eliminate pressure. You're not focused on proving yourself to anyone. You're not waiting for someone else to validate your progress. You're just locked in, focused, and grinding. And that's when you become dangerous. People don't see you coming. They don't know what you're up to. They can't prepare for your next move because they don't even know what direction you're headed in. That's power. Winning in silence is the most satisfying kind of victory. You don't have to post every little achievement. You don't have to tell the world what's happening. You just level up one step at a time. And when people finally notice, it's too late for them to stop you. They'll wonder how you did it, and they'll question how you got so far. But the truth is, you were working when they weren't paying attention. You were disciplined when they were distracted. Most people seek attention, but attention doesn't build empire. Work does. Focus does. Consistency does. The ones who succeed at the highest level aren't the ones looking for likes, comments, or approval. They're the ones locked in behind closed doors, grinding when nobody's watching. They let their results do the talking. They show up, they dominate, and they keep going without looking back. When you move in silence, you also avoid unnecessary drama. You don't invite people's opinions into your process. You don't let their doubts cloud your vision. You don't allow negativity to take root in your mind. Too many people get sidetracked because they let the wrong voices into their plans. When you keep things to yourself, you protect your energy. You stay focused, you stay hungry. Success doesn't require announcement, it requires action. It requires discipline, it requires patience. The best moves are made quietly, the biggest wins happen behind the scenes, and the real players don't need validation. They just show up, do the work, and let the results speak for themselves. When God is moving in your life, it won't always be loud. It won't always be obvious. Sometimes it'll feel like nothing is happening, but that's because God does his best work in silence. He doesn't need an audience. He doesn't need to announce what he's about to do. He just moves, he just aligns, he just prepares. And before you even realize it, everything starts falling into place in ways you never expected. People get discouraged because they don't see instant results. They pray, they work, they wait, and when nothing happens right away, they think God isn't listening. But just because you can't see what he's doing doesn't mean he isn't working. Some blessings take time to build. Some doors have to be prepared before you can walk through them. Some situations have to be shifted. Some people have to be removed, and some lessons have to be learned before God brings you what you're asking for. God doesn't move on your timeline. He moves on his. And if he's making you wait, there's a reason. There's something he's trying to teach you. There's something he's preparing you for. If he gave you everything you wanted too soon, you wouldn't be ready for it. Some people pray for success, but they don't have the discipline to maintain it. Some people ask for love, but what they haven't healed from their past. Some people want a new opportunity, but they aren't willing to put in the work. God knows what you need before you do, and he won't deliver a blessing you aren't prepared to handle. When God is silent, that's when he's working the most. Think about a seed in the ground. You don't see it growing at first. You don't hear it breaking through the soil, but underground, it's expanding, it's strengthening, it's getting ready to rise. That's what happens in your life when you trust God's process. You may not see anything happening right now, but something is shifting beneath the surface. And when the time is right, everything will bloom. Too many people lose faith in the silence. They start doubting, they start complaining, and they start looking for shortcuts. But faith means trusting even when you don't have proof. It means believing even when the evidence isn't clear. God doesn't need to show you everything for you to know he's working. He doesn't need to explain himself for you to understand that he's in control. That's where real faith comes in. Knowing that just because it's quiet doesn't mean nothing is happening. Sometimes the silence is protection. God will keep you hidden until it's your time to shine. He'll keep you in a season of waiting so you don't walk into something unprepared. He'll close doors that you thought were meant for you because he has something better. What you think is rejection is often redirection. What you think is delay is preparation. God isn't punishing you, he's positioning you. When you understand that God works best in silence, you stop questioning the process. You stop doubting. You stop forcing things. You just trust. You just wait. You just keep moving forward, knowing that in his perfect timing, everything will come together. And when it does, you'll realize that the silence was never a punishment. It was a setup for something greater than you ever imagined. The moment you choose silence over unnecessary conversation, you start noticing how much drama you used to invite into your life. A lot of people stay caught up in chaos because they entertain it. They respond to every insult, engage in every argument, and react to every little thing that bothers them. But when you stop giving energy to nonsense, the nonsense stops showing up. Drama only exists where it's entertained, and the second you stop participating, it loses its power over you. Most of the drama in life comes from talking too much. People feel the need to defend themselves, to prove a point, to explain their side of the story. But the truth is, not everyone deserves an explanation. Not everyone deserves access to your thoughts. When you keep quiet, you take control. You don't give people the satisfaction of getting a reaction out of you. You don't allow their negativity to disrupt your peace. Silence is power, and once you master it, you stop being a magnet for foolishness. The people who love drama will start falling away when you stop feeding into it. They'll call you boring. They'll say you've changed, but what they mean is that they can't control you anymore. Some folks thrive off gossip, arguments, and messiness, and when you refuse to be part of that, they get uncomfortable. Let them go. If your silence makes people uncomfortable, that means they were only in your life for the entertainment, not for your growth. A lot of drama starts with the wrong company. When you're constantly around people who complain, gossip, and stir up negativity, it's impossible to stay out of the mess. But when you choose silence, you naturally separate yourself from those environments. You start valuing your peace more than pointless conversations. You realize that your time and energy are too valuable to waste on things that don't help you grow. And before you know it, the unnecessary drama that used to drain you is no longer a part of your world. Silence forces people to deal with themselves. When you stop responding to their nonsense, they have to sit with their thoughts. They can't manipulate you with words. They can't twist the story in their favor. They can't bait you into arguments. That's why silence is such a powerful tool. It removes you from the equation and forces others to face their reflection. Some people don't like that, but that's not your problem. You're too busy protecting your peace. The less you speak, the more you observe. And when you observe, you start recognizing patterns. You notice who always has drama surround them, who always seems to be at the center of every argument, and who constantly brings negativity into your life. And once you recognize those patterns, you learn to distance yourself. You learn that some people thrive off negativity, and no matter how much you try to help them, they will always create problems because that's all they know. Drama cannot survive in silence. It needs words, reactions, and engagement to keep growing. The more you engage, the bigger it gets. The more you respond, the longer it lasts. But when you remove yourself, when you stay silent, when you refuse to entertain it, it eventually fades away. And when the drama fades, all that's left is peace, clarity, and the freedom to focus on the things that truly matter in your life. Respect isn't demanded, it's commanded by the way you carry yourself. When you talk too much, people stop valuing what you say. But when you learn the power of silence, people start paying attention. They start noticing your presence without you having to announce it. They start understanding that when you do speak, it means something. Silence gives weight to your words, and when your words have weight, people listen. A person who speaks less is often seen as more confident. They don't need to explain themselves. They don't need to convince anyone. They just move with certainty, and that alone earns them respect. When you're always talking, trying to prove yourself, trying to win arguments, it shows insecurity. But when you remain calm and quiet, even in situations where most people would react, you show strength. People respect strength, and silence is one of the strongest moves you can make. There's a reason the most powerful people in the room are usually the quietest. They observe, they calculate, and they only speak when it's necessary. They don't waste words. They don't entertain nonsense. They let their actions speak louder than their voice. And because of that, people respect them without question. If you want to be respected, you have to move with that same energy. Stop over-explaining. Stop reacting to everything. Stop giving people unlimited access to your thoughts. When you're silent, people can't figure you out, and that alone makes them respect you. They don't know what you're thinking. They don't know how you're going to move, and that mystery makes them tread carefully. A person who speaks too much is predictable. And when you're predictable, you're easy to manipulate. But a person who stays quiet is in control. They leave people guessing. They make others think twice before trying to play games with them. People naturally respect those who value their own time and energy. When you stop engaging in meaningless conversations, when you stop trying to be liked by everyone, when you stop explaining yourself to those who don't even care to understand you, people start seeing you differently. They see someone who knows their worth. They see someone who won't tolerate disrespect. And the moment people realize you won't tolerate disrespect, they stop trying to test you. Even in disagreements, silence earns more respect than arguing. When someone tries to bait you into a fight and you refuse to engage, it frustrates them. They expect you to react, to go back and forth, to defend yourself. But when you stay quiet, when you walk away, when you let your silence speak for itself, you take away their power. You show that you're not easily moved, that you're not controlled by emotions, and that you refuse to stoop to their level. Respect is built in the way you move, not in the way you talk. When you carry yourself with discipline, when you know when to speak and when to stay silent, when you move with purpose instead of seeking attention, people recognize it. They see that you're different. They see that you're in control of yourself, and when you're in control of yourself, nobody else can control you. That's the kind of energy that demands respect without you ever having to ask for it. Discipline isn't about what you do when people are watching. It's about what you do when nobody's around. Most people struggle with discipline because they can't control their impulse. They speak before they think, react before they reflect, and act before they plan. But when you master silence, you master self-control. You learn to pause before you respond, to observe before you act, and to process before you make decisions. That's where real discipline starts. When you stop reacting to everything, you take back control of your emotions. Most people let their emotions drive them. They let anger, frustration, and insecurity dictate their words and actions. But a disciplined person knows how to hold back. They don't let temporary emotions push them into permanent mistakes. They don't let somebody else's negativity pull them into an argument. They know that silence is a weapon, and when used correctly, it keeps them from saying or doing something they'll regret. Strong discipline comes from choosing patience over urgency. A lot of people feel the need to speak just to fill the silence, to respond to be heard, or to react just to prove a point. But the disciplined person knows that not everything deserves a response. They understand that sometimes the best move is no move at all. They don't let their pride push them into unnecessary battles. They don't feel the need to explain themselves to those who are committed to misunderstanding them. Silence trains you to think before you act. It forces you to sit with your thoughts, to analyze situations, and to make calculated decisions. When you speak too soon or act too fast, you often end up making choices that aren't in your best interests. But when you practice silence, you give yourself time to process. You allow wisdom to take over emotion. You move with intention instead of impulse. And when you move with intention, you make fewer mistakes. Discipline means knowing when to engage and when to walk away. Some people love confrontation. They love drama, chaos, and the energy that comes with conflict. But a disciplined person doesn't let others control their mood. They don't let outside noise disrupt their inner peace. They know that sometimes the strongest move is to remain silent and let things unfold naturally. They understand that silence is a weakness. It's the highest form of control. When you develop discipline, you become unshakable. People can try to provoke you, insult you, or test your patience, but they won't get a reaction. They won't be able to pull you into their mess. That's because you've trained yourself to move differently. You've built the habit of restraint. You've conditioned yourself to stay calm when others lose control. And that's what separates those who succeed from those who stay stuck. Discipline isn't just about work ethic. It's about self-mastery. Mastering silence is mastering yourself. It's about controlling your words, your actions, and your energy. It's about understanding that you don't need to prove anything to anyone. It's about moving with wisdom instead of emotion. And once you develop that level of discipline, you realize that most battles aren't even worth fighting, because the real victory comes from knowing that you never had to engage in the first place. Chasing is a sign of desperation, and desperation pushes things away. When you chase people, they run. When you chase opportunities, they slip through your fingers. When you chase success, it seems to get further out of reach. The more you force things, the harder they become. But when you step back, when you focus on yourself, when you let go of the need to control everything, that's when things start to align. That's when the right people, the right opportunities, and the right moments find you. Most people struggle because they believe the only way to get what they want is to chase it. They think that if they don't constantly push, beg, or prove themselves, nothing will happen. But the truth is, when you're always chasing, you're telling the world that you don't believe in your value. You're telling people that you need them more than they need you. And when you do that, you give away your power. People start taking you for granted. Opportunities start to feel out of reach. The more you try to force things, the less they work in your favor. Letting go isn't about giving up. It's about understanding that you don't have to run after what's already meant for you. When you stop chasing, you start attracting. Instead of running toward things that don't value you, you sit back and let what's truly aligned with you come naturally. You focus on your growth, your mindset, your purpose, and when you do that, people start noticing. Opportunities start appearing. The things you once chased without success start finding their way to you effortlessly. Everything in life works with energy. When you're desperate, you send out an energy of lack, of fear, of not being enough. But when you're calm, when you trust the process, when you believe in yourself, you send out an energy of confidence and abundance. That energy is magnetic. People respect it. The universe responds to it. The things that once seemed out of reach start falling into place because you're no longer trying to force them. You've stepped into a place of knowing that what's meant for you will always be yours. Most of the time, the reason things don't work out is because we're holding on too tightly. We refuse to let go of situations that no longer serve us. We hold on to relationships that drain us. We chase opportunities that aren't even meant for us. But the moment you release that grip, the moment you surrender and trust that what's meant for you won't pass you by, everything starts to shift. The right people start showing up. The right doors start opening. The right moments begin to unfold without you having to fight for them. When you stop chasing, you stop settling. You stop wasting time on things that aren't for you. You stop begging people to stay. You stop forcing connections that don't feel right. Instead, you move with purpose. You walk with confidence. You understand that your value is not determined by whether or not people choose you, but by how much you choose yourself. And when you do that, you naturally draw in the respect, the relationships, and the opportunities that match your worth. The secret to getting everything you want is to stop acting like you need it. Neediness repels, but confidence attracts. Desperation pushes away, but certainty pulls in. When you let go of the urge to chase, you allow space for better things to come into your life. And that's when everything starts to fall into place. Not because you forced it, not because you begged for it, but because you finally understood that what's meant for you will never require you to chase it. In a world that's constantly loud, quiet is the space where true power is built. The loudest voices aren't always the most effective. Most of the time, they're the least impactful. People make noise because they're trying to be seen or heard, but the most powerful people don't need to shout to make their mark. They move silently, quietly, observing and waiting for the right moment. The best moves in life are made when you're not trying to prove anything. They're made when you've already done the work and let your actions speak for themselves. Silence doesn't mean inactivity. It doesn't mean that you're not doing anything. It means that you're focused. When you're quiet, you can see things more clearly. You're not distracted by the noise around you. You're not sidetracked by other people's opinions. You're not caught up in drama or unnecessary conversations. Instead, you're taking the time to reflect, plan, and think ahead. Quiet allows you to listen to your inner voice. It helps you assess what needs to be done without the constant buzz of the world trying to tell you what to do. When you act in quiet, your decisions come from a place of strength and wisdom. You've thought through your actions, you've considered every angle, you've made the decision based on logic, not emotion. The best moves in life don't come from impulsive reactions. They come from intentional, well thought out decisions. When you're in the middle of chaos, you can't think clearly. But when you find the peace of silence, you can process what's happening around you and make decisions that will lead to success. Many people think that success is about making noise, being seen, and constantly being in the spotlight. But real success is about making calculated, strategic moves. It's about moving with purpose, not out of desperation. It's about knowing when to act and when to wait. When you make your moves in quiet, you give yourself the time to assess, to learn, and to adapt. You aren't rushing to keep up with others. You're moving at your own pace, making decisions that are aligned with your goals and your vision. When you're quiet, people underestimate you. They think you're not paying attention. They think you're not in control, but that's when you have the advantage. When they think you're not looking, that's when you're setting up your next big move. You're making moves that nobody else sees coming, and that's how you win. Quiet gives you the element of surprise. It keeps your competition guessing. While they're busy talking, you're working in silence, preparing for the moment when you strike. The quietest people in the room are often the ones with the most power. They don't feel the need to talk about their plans, their dreams, or their goals. They don't need validation from others. They're secure in their vision. When you're quiet, you don't waste energy convincing others. You don't spend your time explaining your every move. You know what you're capable of, and you let your success show for itself. Quiet is a sign of confidence. It shows that you don't need anyone's approval to move forward.